Oh, nice. Nice and hot. One last day of like super hot. That's good. All right. Good evening, members. I'd like to welcome everybody to the September 23rd, 2019 Newmarket Budget Committee meeting. And as usual, let's begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Looks everybody had a good couple of weeks since we were here last. I think the first order of business is to review and approve the minutes from our last meeting on August 26, 2019. And I will entertain a motion to, so moved. Thank you, Roger.
We could correct on page 2, second paragraph, the spelling of my name.
Page 2, second paragraph, yeah. Sorry about that. And just a quick note, we have a couple folks that aren't here with us, Kristen Matthews, Robert Ortons, and Patricia is not here. She is going to help us out by watching the video and take notes and produce the minutes from the video. So if you have a chance, please go ahead and speak into the microphone tonight. But thanks, we'll get that
Okay.
that note made.
Anyway, yeah, motion to approve the minutes of the August 26th meeting, just so we're following the
Sorry, motion,
the
yeah.
rules.
Thank you, Dan. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, Jeff Rabb, thanks for the second. We started into that a little bit early, but thanks very much. Is any other corrections that folks see on this one? All right, all in favor of approving the minutes as described in edits, say aye.
Aye.
So 8 are with us. Actually, I think maybe Roger and Gary, we guys,
Yeah.
unless you watched it on camera, we might have you abstain?
Yeah.
Okay, so 2 abstentions
Abstain.
and 7 approvals. All right. Not a whole lot on the agenda again this evening. We had reached out to both the town administrator and the new superintendent of the schools and asked about the review of numbers year to date. Both thought it would be better for us if they should attend the next meeting in October just in terms of people getting their feet underneath them in the end of the summer. There have been some systems upgrades across the district and inside of the town hall here, so they figured it'd be better for them to visit us next month and be a little more efficient and complete on that. So we will invite them for our next meeting and have that be when we take a look at the year-to-dates. Our next meeting is going to be on November 25th here in Town Hall at 7 o'clock.
October?
What did I say? Our next meeting is going to be October 28th here in Town Hall. I was looking down, I apologize, at November 25th, which is going to be, I believe, the working session to review and approve the town budget. Inside the email that I had on the agenda, I did include some key dates for the budget committee upcoming. I did want to make a note that those are not final dates. Those are approximate dates as we align with both town and school. I anticipate there'll be some changes in here, but just so folks can sort of see the pacing with which we start to get into things across November, December, and January, just to give folks an idea. So I know that the other committees, school and town, are talking about dates, and so we'll align and be here for public hearings and then also our final votes on that. That's in a new business. Any questions or concerns to this point?
Do you want to know, I know there's a date that I won't be able to make. You want to know that now? Or
I'll hold off until, it looks like it's a December date.
yeah. I just-
I'll probably ping you around November and have you remind me then. That might be easier.
Yeah.
But never, if you know them, go ahead and send them and we'll just avoid them. Dan?
So just a quick question, I guess, to the council and school board reps, in as much as you know, which is obviously not perfect, anything in the way of warrants or anything unusual? I'm just thinking of the situation we found ourselves in last year where the council was holding a hearing on something very, very late in the game, and we ended up having to convene a special meeting just to vote on one of them. Is anything of that nature in the works this year?
Thankfully, no.
Thank you.
We are right now on time for everything. Cannot honestly think of anything significant or controversial that would take up a lot of our time. I will say we do have our Saturday budget workshop on the 26th, which is a few weeks away. But things are moving along, and I think we're all acutely aware of the lateness that we ran into last year. We're going to avoid that again. Avoid that from happening again.
And we are just now starting to discuss things, so I'm really not in a lot of knowledge, so I probably will abstain from saying anything right now until I'm sure.
Okay.
But we're fine.
But neither side has a significant labor contract up this year or anything
We
big?
do have one negotiation contract coming up,
Okay.
but
The only thing I can think really that is of curiosity is I know that we had put out some couple of requests looking for people who wanted to do the work on the dam. I don't think that there was much development with there at this point, but it's the only thing that I kind of see just circling back around to in the next couple of weeks. But Steve's been pretty much on top of everything, so
The dam committee continuing to do the dam work?
pretty much.
Okay. You gotta get that joke in at least once every year.
Terrific. Thanks. Just keep apprised if that does happen. I'm going to move on down to other business / new business, and invite Joe Lamattina, who is our secondary rep to the CIP. Christian is our first. He couldn't make it this evening. And so, Joe, I was hoping you might be able to just share a little bit of what you guys have been discussing in the CIP.
Yeah, so at the last meeting, we met with all the department heads except for Rick Delansky. We're gonna meet again this coming Wednesday to meet with Rick, go over his CIP items. And then after that, they're going to go through the different items and kind of prioritize them, whatever. Overall, me personally, there was nothing significant in there. There's a lot of things there that you would expect, roof repairs, whatever, new radios, new vehicles. There were a couple of items that from the school side that I thought might raise some eyebrows, but again, this is their wish list.
Sure.
I'm sure the school committee's gonna go through it and, prioritize them appropriately. But anyway, one was a new field for $1 million. Another is a courtyard for $160,000. And then, we just got something this afternoon, some updates to the playgrounds for $200,000. I think some of those might raise some eyebrows to people. Other than that, most of the stuff is, you have to do it, new roofs, new cabling,
Yep.
new wires.
Yeah, the CIP is such a great guide in the town for planning. Certainly those go into the plan for the budget that we do see. And if we just really just wait for the official budget to hit us before
Yeah,
we
I'm sure
discuss
they'll-
any further, but yeah. Thanks very much.
But it's good to see, hey, things that people would really like to have.
Yeah.
It's nice to, a
Right.
lot of nices to have, but again,
Not
we
needed,
prioritize
yeah.
things.
Yeah. That's great. Well, thank you very much for both of the attending of that meeting and sort of sharing the information that you got out of that here tonight.
I hope they also brought up at the CIP about the playground, how the kids have been raising money for that by themselves. They've raised a large amount.
Yeah, but $200,000, I don't think they're gonna raise 200,000.
No, but they raised a good amount, which
Yeah,
it would be
that-
nice,
that's
because,
great.
yeah.
That is great. Thanks again, everybody.
Mickey,
Yeah.
I have a question. I don't know whether it's for you or Joe or for the committee as a whole, but in places where there has not been attention given to CIP, it appears like the alternate is to lease equipment, is in terms of equipment, when purchase of equipment, capital equipment. And is there a position of the committee, or should we be encouraging CIP as a planning vehicle and as an execution vehicle in lieu of doing leasing?
I am going to give sort of an informed idea on this. I don't think in any way I would represent sort of an official opinion from either the committee. So the CIP, as I understand it, is in a sense a place for the community to bring forward ideas about what we want to bring. Those ideas then filter their way through the department heads, the town administrator, and then finally the town council before it comes to us. So in terms of the decisions of purchase or lease, there are several opportunities for the different boards to take a look at the budget and the monies and make hopefully an informed decision about where they want to place those funds. I think our review is a chance for us to take a look at sort of bottom line numbers and decide if the budget makes sense from sort of a full town perspective. In terms of what makes the most sense, I think that's why we get a chance to take a look at the budget, because it really is something that's sort of best served as a case by case. In some instances it might make sense to lease, in others it might make sense to purchase outright. I know previously, when I first started on the budget committee, we didn't have sort of an idea of a long-term plan in town that was sort of well recognized and followed. And so that's a big change for us. And so I think your question makes a lot of sense in terms of what's our attitude as a town.
Well, it seemed to me that in trying to understand the CIP process, if people don't put things onto CIP and fund CIP, then, you need to buy something, then you don't have a choice of using CIP funds. You have to lease if you have to have the equipment.
Right.
So it's a matter of whether we encourage the longer term planning of CIP. But that's offset, as I understand, by the fact that CIP funds are very narrowly designated and can't be used
So
for
CIP is
something
a
else.
committee. I mean, it's not, they don't have a series of funds that they are controlling. Correct me if I'm wrong there, as folks are more familiar with CIP. It's an advisory board. They don't have funds that they would allocate or fund money from. That really goes to
Okay.
both the town council and the town administrator.
But once money is put into CIP, it can only be used for that one event that it was put in for. Is that correct? Or do I misunderstand it?
We don't really CIP is not a funding vehicle. There's not a subset of the town's accounts charter that would say these are CIP funds. CIP does two things for us, broadly speaking. One, just from a strict legal standpoint, for us to assess impact fees on developers, we have to have a capital improvement plan. you think of there being, there's a CIP, the plan, then there's the CIP committee. The committee prepares, votes on, approves the plan, which, like I said, we have to have for certain legal reasons, but the plan is not binding in the sense that the town administrator and then subsequently the council will look at the plan, consider what's in there, and then can decide to embrace the whole thing, take parts of it, or realistically could actually decide to ignore it completely.
Okay.
If that was what they wanted to do,
So
so.
I misunderstood then exactly how the process works. Thank you.
It's mostly just a requirement that we have to meet so that we can assess those fees on impact fees on developers, but we've tried, with some degree of success, I think, to actually get more value out of the exercise for the town over the past few years. It's just, that refining the process so that it does become, I guess, more practical in nature. And the first year I did CIP, which was 5 years ago at this point, it was very much all the town department heads came forward with their Christmas lists, and we spent a lot of time talking about it, and the town administrator and the council more or less ignored it, give or take. I'm sure they read it. I'm sure they gave some credence to the thought process behind it. But when they looked at the fact that, in total, the committee was recommending like some insane amount of money to go in the capital trust, $5 million, they're like, no, the taxpayers are never going to stomach this. So, decisions have to be made.
Can I add a little more?
Thank you.
So when the plan is executed in a sense by the town administrator and then the council, the choices have to be made about how that funding will happen based on the plan. So some things will, like Dan said, won't make it through. Some things will then end up in the budget as budget line items, monies that can be
Yep.
used within the budget, and others will be fund allocations. Now, the fund allocations, those are the ones that are potentially narrow.
Okay.
So if the decision gets made, we need A, the way to get A is to put money into the fund, then that will be what shows in the budget, that there'll be an allocation to that fund.
Okay.
And then the town council can use those funds for that purpose or any other that's within the charter of that fund. So it's kind of like a savings account in a sense for a certain purpose. So it is part of it and it is relevant. You might be interested to see where the money's gonna go to fund anything that's in the plan. And you may actually want to talk to the council by showing up to a meeting and using public comment to voice your opinion for how they might want to approach things that you see in the plan. I think it makes a lot of sense if you have an opinion on it to make it heard.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks. Great, thanks. Any other comments before we close that? Okay, I don't see any. Thanks, Roger. That was a great question, and thanks, guys, for having an informative
thank you.
session. The last bit of items that are on the agenda tonight, there was a communication out to me about a screening and interview committee that's being formed to help identify and potentially recommend a new district business administrator. So there are a few printouts of the notice. This is one that comes from the elementary school, so Sean Pine is the chair of this committee. They wanted us to be aware of this, and while we probably won't make it a practice to recommend or sort of highlight the committees that form in town and sort of do their business, the person that is going to fill this position will sort of be an assist to the work of the budget committee. So we did want to bring it forward and let folks know that this is forming, and talk a little about it tonight if folks have questions or opinions on this. I think at the top, I just want to say that if you are interested in this and do end up reaching out, there's no expectation that you are a sort of representative of the budget committee on this search committee. You would be a member of the public who also happens to be someone who is on the budget committee. So that's in highlights. I think the other thing to point out is that they had an organizational meeting this afternoon at 3:30. So it would be a matter of sort of joining in and getting ramped up and being a part of this as they move forward. But that's what this document that I printed out for everybody is. It's just a letter of notice and a schedule on the back end. So let me know if there are any questions, concerns, or thoughts on the business administrator interview committee. Seeing any? Okay. Well, thanks. If you reach out, again, the number is at the bottom, along with Sean Pine's contact information. That's all I have for the night, so I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Thank you, Roger. Seconded?
Second.
Thanks, Dan. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And we are complete. Thanks, everybody. Have a great evening.
October 28th is the next one, right?
October 28th is the next one.